There has been a release of documents from Royal Dutch Shell that shows that the oil giant knew about global warming as far back as the 1980s and chose not to take any action to stop it. In fact, one of the confidential documents shows that Shell not only knew that the world would be in danger, but that they did not believe that the world would act in time in order to save it. The trove of 38 documents were first unearthed by Dutch journalist Jelmer Malmers de Correspondence and also published by Climate Investigation Center. They show that, like ExxonMobil, Shell scientists knew about the environmental damage of burning fossil fuels well before the general public was fully aware, and even before the UN International Panel on Climate Change was established. And like Exxon, Shell has worked to stall action to address climate change, including lobbying against European renewable energy targets. In 2015, for example, it spent $22 million lobbying against climate change policies, according to the non-profit influence map. Now, what is most interesting in this situation is a document that was made in 1988, which was labeled as confidential, titled The Greenhouse Effect, and it showed that the oil giant had an internal climate science program going as far back as 1981. Now, it recognized that fossil fuels are the main cause for increasing carbon dioxide emissions in the world. It also laid out a detailed analysis of the potential impacts from rising global emissions upon the world, including rising sea levels, ocean acidification, and human migration. This shows that they really did know that this was a problem, and they predicted many of the problems that were going to happen as a result, yet they still continued to do absolutely nothing about it and hinder real efforts to try to deal with it. The document also concludes that the energy sector should actively engage to help stop and limit climate change, and it also included this specific warning. 1. However, by the time the global warming becomes detectable, it could be too late to take effective countermeasures to reduce the effects or even stabilize the situation. So even as this became public and the world began to know about the damage that the oil industry was doing to the world, in 1991, Shell released a video called Climate of Concern, which reiterated warnings found in the 1988 document. Now, in it, the oil giant says, "Global warming is not yet certain, but many think that to wait for final proof would be irresponsible. Action now is seen as the only safe insurance." So basically what they're saying is that, well, we say we should do something, yet their actions were totally different. They attempted to block legislation for renewable energy. They have spent tens of millions of dollars in lobbying the government, producing fake studies to say global warming isn't real, when here they themselves acknowledged that it was happening. Not only did they acknowledge it, they saw it before the public did. They predicted the damage that it was going to do, which has largely been true. Some of it hasn't come true yet, but it seems very much likely that it's on the horizon. Yet the entire time, they have tried to cover all of this up as though it did not happen. They were trying to completely bury this threat to the human race because it got in the way of their profit motive. This is the kind of people that capitalism produces. People that just simply will not, that will let the world die, that will let untold amount of misery happen simply so they can have more money in their pockets, as if the hundreds of billions of dollars these companies already have is not enough. Oil production is one of the most profitable industries in the entire world, and yet they still feel they don't have enough. And this places the entire world in jeopardy. I could not think of a better symbol for capitalism. Literally, the whole planet, the whole human race being killed off so that a few people can make more money. This is the kind of psychopathic mentality that we are facing with global capitalism, one that is driving the entire world over the edge, one that is going to make the entire human race extinct, and reminds us more than ever that definite real action against not just the oil companies, but against human greed in general, the whole system of capitalism has to be abolished. And the best example that we have right now of trying to counter this trend is China, which is spending ungodly amounts of money into renewable energy that would make the planet more sustainable. So we even have the example of what can be done if a state really does put through some kind of significant investment to try to change things the way they are. Maybe we don't even actually need capitalism. We don't even need to get rid of capitalism change. Who knows? But I think in the overall sense, the actions of China will not be enough to save the entire world. That the whole system of capitalism has to come to an end. At the very least, the end of fossil fuels before we wake up one day and find this entire world devoid of human life. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.